Okay. So you sell dresses, right? That's your experience. Maya Holihan is the dress experience lady. That's what she's been known for a long time. People don't know her from a technology perspective. How do you start selling technology when that's not your forte?
You surround yourself with people that know how to sell technology or can at least speak the language. And that's what I've done. You know, interestingly enough, I was speaking to an investor yesterday and we were going through the deck. You know, I like to share the deck with different investors and get their feedback. And she said to me, I like that you have surrounded yourself with some fractional team members and haven't hired anybody. These people are vesting, but they're people that have competencies that I don't have. Right. And so I think that's what you need to do is you need to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you in areas that are essential to the business, but that you can't necessarily speak about on your own. And so because even with technology, like the numbers are way more sophisticated with a multi-vendor marketplace. And so I brought in a fractional CFO because I mean, my pro forma for EWedded is like law school compared to my pro forma for Maya Couture. That was like elementary school, right? And so
this is life 101 though, right? And I think a lot of people should take this advice in whatever they're doing. Hey, I'm thinking about going to college. Hey, I'm in a relationship. Hey, I'm in sports. I want to do this thing. Like surrounding yourself by people who understand even just little things more than others. I mean, like, you know, I do triathlons now, right? So like I have someone that helps me with the training plan. I have someone that helps me on the bike fit. I have a running person that I probably text too much about running. That's Tim, by the way. He's like, I hate this guy. But I mean, why wouldn't you talk to people who understand that better? Which is interesting because now it seems like even if we just punt back to what we were talking about, 40 minutes ago, was I didn't ask those people for help. And now it's kind of like ingrained in you. And it's like, oh yeah, ask these people for help who know what they're doing.
And the whole premise of this show is to give people the tips and tricks that they need to hit the $1 million mark in business. Right. And I wish we had some sort of AI type function that could go back and revisit all the previous episodes just to see what is the most reoccurring theme or nugget that we pass on. Yeah. And making yourself vulnerable and asking for help is probably one of the #1 things that we talk about, because if you always want to be the smartest person in the room or the smartest person in the company, you're not doing yourself any justice and you're setting yourself up for failure.
Absolutely. 100%, without a doubt. I mean, I think that the relationships you choose to forge at any stage of your business is a driving factor in how successful you're going to be. Whether they're people that you bring in as employees, whether they're advisors, whether they're customers, whether they're vendors, it is all about those people, those decisions. I mean, I get asked all the time, what's the most difficult part of business? And my answer is always people. People is the hardest part of business because I don't care what type of business you're in, you have to deal with people. But
yeah, that's where all the variables are.
Exactly. But be choosy about who your people are, but also leverage them. I mean, use them. If they're willing to give up themselves, use them. And like even now, I know Tim, you were nice enough to look at my deck. Like anytime an investor's like, ping me, reach out to me. I mean, even if they're not going to invest, I want to glean some sort of information from them that's going to help me make EWedded better. And you can't be in your own bubble. You've got to put yourself out there.
I don't know that I said this or I'm just stealing it from someone, but it's kind of like trust but verify, right? So like trust your gut and then verify that these people know what they're doing. But even from like an employee standpoint, how do you, or anyone that you're talking to, like how do you gauge what they're telling you? It's like before you talked about an advisor figuring out if they've been where you are before, right? Or have experienced something in that world, right? I feel like we have a lot of Shark Tank mentors these days where people are like, I watch Shark Tank and I know what I'm talking about. But the greatest coach of all time in football never played, and that's Bill Belichick, right? And so like where in the business world, where is that line to make sure like maybe Bill Belichick isn't the greatest coach of all time, but he does have 6 Super Bowl trophies.
I'm a New England.
That's 6 more than the Buffalo Bills do. Ding. Tim's from Buffalo, so I had to throw that out there. But where does that matter in kind of employee standpoint, from a teammate perspective, from an advisor standpoint, from all of these, people are the hardest part. Like, how do you gauge how much of that they've done or haven't done to like have them be a part of it? It's a hard question to ask.
It is. And I think part of it is experience. Absolutely. Like I don't, lacking a better word, resume, but like, what does their background tell about them? Like in terms of the path that they've walked in business and in life, because you obviously want to surround yourself with people that have shared values and, a certain level of integrity and character. But 2 other things that I look at are effort and loyalty. Are they going, when they say that they're going to do the work, are they really going to do the work? And I didn't always hire the right people. And I think no one has a crystal ball, right? So there's a few things that you have to do. When you realize you've made a bad hire, there's one of 2 things to do. Get rid of them quickly, or is it like right bus, wrong seat? Do they belong in another place within the company? But when you surround yourself with great people and you go for them for the right reasons, they will work for you. And not a lot of people know this, but when I was in the final months of House of Maya, my staff worked for 3 months without getting paid. I mean, there are enough amazing words that I can use to express the level of talent, poise, and character of the women that worked with me in the last 6 months of that company, because they were compromising their personal lives to try to save this business with me. And that comes from the fact that loyalty and effort were 2 kind of pillars for me that I used when I was choosing who I was going to bring into that world.
I mean, that's awesome. And that says a lot about you as a business owner, as a leader, as a boss. Someone who's been directly involved within the startup community for almost a decade, I want to talk to you about a serious pain point: spending a ton of time trying to understand the business landscape in the 757. That's time that should be focused on growing the business. At StartWheel, we're here to help you by compiling all of the news you need to know about in one place. Now there's no need to search multiple websites. Just head to startwheel.org and see for yourself. That's startwheel.org.